Good day, YouTube. Today I'm doing just a bit of a comparison video between MX Linux 21 on the left hand side, the KDE Plasma Desktop Environment Edition, and Ubuntu Budgie 22.04 on the right hand side. So maybe a little bit of apples to oranges, but they are both brand new releases, and you might be in fact choosing between one of these two operating systems to run. So without further ado, I'll open up a few things, and on the left hand side, of course, we've got the Plasma Desktop Environment here, nicely refined desktop environment with the search option there, which is nice to see. All of the apps that you could ever really want for any Linux distro there, to say the least. On the right hand side, we are running on the Budgie desktop environment here, so heavily integrated with the what's called the GNOME stack, I believe the GNOME 2 stack there. So it's just a desktop environment to itself, so both different desktop environments here. And let's see, I'll open up the file managers just for a moment to see what we're working with. So on the left hand side, we're using the Dolphin file manager, which is the de facto standard for any KDE Plasma desktop environments. And on the right hand side, we are dealing with, I believe this is the GNOME Files desktop environment there. Although I'm having issues, there it is, found it. Here we go, it goes by many names, Nemo, Nautilus, Files, but there it is anyway. Okay, so basically they do the same thing, right click, open a terminal, that kind of thing makes me happiest, but that's about it for those ones. I do like the coloring scheme, the dark mode that Ubuntu Budgie is certainly implementing there. Further on, if we say jump across to the under the hood and see what's happening there, so I'm going to open up a terminal for each of these guys here. We'll have a bit of a look. I'll use NeoFetch, a nice lightweight information tool there, and we'll see what it all says. Well, that's obviously been zoomed in a bit too much there. And on the left-hand side, we are dealing with, we'll start with the kernel, so 5.10 kernel. Now, the reason for this is it's running on Debian backend, so it's call it an older but a more stable kernel there. Whereas on the right-hand side, the 5.15 kernel, so certainly quite a few generations ahead in time, because it is running on the latest release of Ubuntu there. So that's the reason for that one. So better support for, you know, graphics cards, Wi-Fi cards, later hardware, that kind of thing. Let's see if there's anything else of interest here. So I've mentioned about the Budgie, Plasma, that's all good there. We'll move across to the system monitor, just lastly, and we'll see how much RAM each of these puppies like to use on boot up there. So let's see, htop command, there we go. So on the left hand side, MX Linux 21 running on at about 600 megabytes of RAM on boot up, almost exactly, whereas Ubuntu Budgie running at 832, 33 megabytes of RAM on boot up. So a decent 230 megabytes more of RAM on boot up for Ubuntu Budgie, probably because it is using the GNOME based but highly customized variant called the Budgie desktop environment there. I mean, always take these results with a bit of a grain of salt, but it can be used as a bit of a good guide there still. So thanks for watching, guys. Please leave a comment, subscribe, hit that like button, and I do hope to see all of you guys there in the next one.